So good morning everyone, and welcome to another video. As you can probably see, I am down in the bluebells again, and if you saw my previous video, which I did, which was just, I guess, a few tips to hopefully help you take better bluebell photos, and a few of the techniques that I would tend to use, kind of figured, you know, I'm going to come back because in the video I said that the bluebells just weren't at their peak yet. So I've come back a few days later to the same location. It's actually quite funny because that morning I found it was a fairly new area. I don't think I've ever seen any photos from this location. So I found it last year, came down, found some really nice compositions the last day that I was down filming. Came back down this morning thinking that I would just exactly walk back to the exact same spot that I had mentally prepared or mentally took a note of, and I was kind of struggling when I arrived because I can't seem to find the trees and the shapes and what I found the last day. So what I've been doing is I've been using this, and I've just been walking about, and kind of instead of lugging the big camera about, I've just kind of gone for a little bit of a walk. Obviously trying to be careful where I'm walking so that I'm not tramping down the bluebells, but just using this and trying to find a few compositions just with the phone, just very quickly kind of pulling it out and kind of looking around different trees, different shapes, different sort of compositions and formations. And I have actually found a really nice one, which one of the trees, I've shot it before, but I've never shot it with this composition. But I'm just waiting on light now because the sun has risen over there, and I'm here earlier than I was the last time, so in theory the light should be even better because the sun will be lower and it should be warmer. So this composition which I'm going to show you is all going to come down to side light. It's nice as it is, it's a nice scene, but I need the light, I need side light on it to make it really pop. Okay, composition wise, so I found the shot. I'm just waiting on the sun coming out here. That it's looking like this might happen, so I'm keeping fingers crossed. So I'm on the A7RIII to 200 as I was on the last video. What I'm shooting in at about 135mm, and I'm shooting at f4. So I've got these lovely, the way I have it framed up, on the left hand side I've got a few lovely straight trees, and then the trees begin to twist, and there's this one on the right hand side which twists up and it's full of leaves, and all the other trees, the trunks are completely bare, and that is my focus point. That is what I'm focusing on, and I've only got about maybe not even a third, probably about a fifth of the frame with bluebells in it. So by focusing on the tree and by compressing the scene with the longer lens, what I'm actually doing is I'm going to create a really nice blurred effect on the bluebells, and the entrance part of the frame just at the very bottom is going to be just nicely blurred. And I think, is that the light coming? Looks like it. And on the front I have a polarizer as well, so that's just helping to cut out a little bit of the reflections, and it's really helping the colours of the bluebells and the greens of the trees. Now again, self-timer, I have the 5-second delay on this because I'm shooting with the longer lens, just to make sure that there's absolutely no camera shake. And here we go. Wow, that's it now. There's these lovely shafts of side light just hitting some of the bluebells. It's not hitting all of them, but it's actually helping to create loads of depth. So I'm just making sure, I'm reducing my exposure a little bit now, just to make sure that I don't blow out any of the brighter parts of the scene. Yeah, very nice. And I think the light is almost gone again. It was literally less than 10 seconds. I just hope that I got it. So I'm trying to refine this composition here. I've moved across, I've got this quite a nice little pathway leading the eye right through towards these trees, and they're all kind of coming out at different angles. I just don't think I'm happy with it. I think the composition is okay, but I think it's just the light. Again, there's backlighting in the trees in the distance, but the area that I'm wanting to actually shoot is just completely flat. So I think it just looks really unbalanced or something. I've been trying to get lower to the ground to shoot across the bluebells a wee bit more, just to add a little bit more emphasis on them, but I just don't think it's working. So what I might do is, I've shot this before the pano back across that way, shooting across the woods. Now there's quite a lot of nice streaks of light coming through, or where it's kind of gone again. So I may just go back and try and shoot that. Feeling that, if that doesn't work, I think I'll go back to the other side and maybe try a few wide angle shots, just shooting straight up into the trees. And maybe if the sun does come out again, maybe try and get a nice sunburst or something in it. But yeah, this one here, I think I could waste loads and loads of time and not be happy with it. So I think I'm just going to move on. Yeah, move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the pano prepared, and one of the things I don't need to worry too much about is this here being balanced, because I'm gonna be using a pano head. So as long as I balance the actual ball head itself, then it's gonna make it much easier for me then to lock that in place. So I don't actually need to worry about having any of this all level, as long as I balance the ball head, because I'm going to be using the pano head, which just turns around like that. Whenever I put the camera on, then it's going to be nice and level. So what I'll probably do, I'm going to shoot this at f11, and I'm going to focus on one of the front trees, just like I did before. I'm going to just wait in this light now, because it's gone flat again. And then I'm going to quickly just pan around, maybe, I reckon for this one, maybe about 7 or 8 shots, and hopefully we'll get some nice light. Yeah, it looks about right there. So this is just a waiting game now. So I've moved across now. I have the 16-35 on, and as you can see, I've got down low. I'm on a little bit of a slope here, which is probably helping, and I'm just shooting straight up in. I put on a grad just because there's quite a bit of sky sort of poking through, and it's helping to keep a little bit of the detail in the sky. It's doing an okay job, and I'm shooting at f16 because what I wanted to try and do is actually get that, if you shoot at f16, that will help you get the starburst or the sunburst effect. So I just need to tweak this a little bit, because I just need to find the exact position of the gap between the trees of where the sun is coming through. So obviously shooting so low and shooting so wide, I'm in about 20mm here, it's going to make things look a little bit distorted and the trees are all going to swip over, but I think it's quite a nice look. It's a very different look to the bluebells, as opposed to the one with the tele lens where you were kind of compressing everything. So yeah, there we go. I think it's trying its best to come out. This is very much trial and error, because sometimes there's such a small gap between the trees to let the sun through that you have a very, very small gap to actually get the effect of the sunburst, the sun star. Just raise up just a little bit here, see if it helps. I was getting it earlier there, and just not getting it just at the minute. Probably doesn't help that the sun isn't completely strong. Let's try this now. F16, ISO 100.8 of a second. Yep. Got it.